All right, everyone. I've got one big question to start us off with. Are you enjoying being back in person for Europe Liberty Forum? I'm going to ask you to begin your salads because we've got a big program ahead of us. The announcement of the winner of the 2020 Europe Liberty Award, a keynote address by the great Johan Norberg, special remarks from a good friend, one of the heroes of Ukraine's freedom movement, and another highlight, we're going to give you some time to spend in conversation over dinner with your friends in the freedom movement. I've never enumerated this before as one of the highlights of one of our events, but after 2 years of Zoom calls, it's become a little more obvious that this is actually what it's all about. Part of the magic of being together for Europe Liberty Forum is, in fact, the being together part, right? Some of you were with us in Miami this past December for, I'm usually like a pretty humble guy, but I'm just gonna come out and say it. Our Liberty Forum and Freedom Dinner in December was, in fact, the greatest event ever. Was anybody else there? Come on. I can be backed up by that. We had heroes of the freedom movement. We had Grammy-winning musicians. We had prize-worthy projects, poignant speeches, a baseball stadium, an exploding thing that threw sparkles into the air. It was pretty amazing. And it was entirely appropriate for us to resume live in-person Atlas Network events with a big splash. But the truth of it is that if we had been in a parking lot or an open field, I think that the magic still would have been there. And that's because this freedom movement that we talk about is it's really all about you. It's about living, breathing people who find camaraderie and inspiration and reasons to keep fighting on in one another. So that's what we got to celebrate in Miami, and that is what makes this gathering in Warsaw so special as well. Before we get further into the program, I do want to spend a minute or two now remembering someone who's not with us tonight. Someone who shockingly died among us at breakfast after that freedom dinner in Miami, turning one of the happiest days of my life into one of the very saddest. And I'm talking, of course, about our former board chair, Linda Whetstone. Linda invested her heart and soul in this cause, and she took so much delight in the progress that's being made by people in this room and beyond to spread to new audiences an appreciation of the principles of free societies. Linda died the day after our 2021 Liberty Forum, and we're reserving time at the 2022 Liberty Forum this November in New York City to celebrate her life, not just with this community of our European friends or our American community, but also alongside the Africans, the Middle Easterners, the Latin Americans and Asians who Linda worked with and truly loved. So we're delighted also that members of the Whetstone family are going to be joining us in New York for the occasion. And if Linda touched your life, I hope that you'll reserve in your calendar November 16 and 17, as we're going to be reserving a full hour with the global freedom movement to celebrate one of our greatest heroes. But for now, I'll ask you to put down the forks for a moment and join me in 1 minute of silence in honor of Linda Whetstone. Okay, thank you all. I don't know if you heard it in your own heads, but I couldn't help but sort of hear Linda nagging at me in her pragmatic way, saying, seems like a pretty long minute, Brad. Can't you get to the program and the work ahead? And my answer to the Linda in my head is yes, but one more quick thing. In addition to Linda's roles on the board of directors of Atlas Network and Institute of Economic Affairs in London, in addition to her role as the president of the Mont Pelerin Society, Linda personally ran a host of programs via her own organization called Network for a Free Society. And these programs mostly concentrated on translating and sharing great works on liberty so they could be disseminated to audiences in parts of Africa, Asia, and the Middle East where our ideas have had little traction. Mark Littlewood and I have been really proud to join with Linda's brother, Mike, and our friend Robert Boyd, both of them trustees of Network for a Free Society, to advise on the establishment of a fund in Linda's name to carry on Linda's work. And when we break for dinner, we're going to be sharing some pamphlets about this fund, including how you can contribute and how you can spread awareness of the fund among other philanthropists in your circles. I'm convinced that Linda is smiling down on this effort and hoping that it picks up some real traction in the weeks ahead. And I hope you'll give some serious consideration to how you can personally help carry on Linda's legacy. Another thing that I'm sure Linda is smiling about is the incredible cooperation among people in the freedom movement during this present crisis in Ukraine. Agent W, as we called her, she really cherished how our movement is built on friendship and the voluntary sacrifices that we make for one another as friends out of respect and out of commitment to a larger cause. And that was, of course, the theme of Tom Palmer's beautiful Toast to Freedom that he gave the night before Linda died. And as you heard today, our own Agent Palmer has been a witness to and an active participant in the cooperation that's happened inside Ukraine and around it to keep hopes of Ukrainian freedom and Ukrainian independence alive. And I just know Linda would be just so proud. And I'd like us to now welcome to the stage one of our dear friends from the freedom movement of Ukraine. He was the founder of what's now called the Institute of Economic Leadership, which, like our other institutional partners in Ukraine, had been an engine for free market reform before the war. Our great hope is that it will be again after the present situation has come to a conclusion. Since 2019, he has served as an elected member of parliament in Ukraine. So a round of applause, please, for our friend Marian Zablatsky.
Thank you. During the last Liberty Forum, 2019, my friend, dare I say my brother, Alexander Skouras, handed me over the task of hosting the next Liberty Forum in Kyiv. Then, of course, the COVID pandemic came from China, then the invasion. But I'm pretty sure that quite soon we will still have a Liberty Forum in Free Kyiv. And not only in that, and not only in Free Kyiv, in Free Minsk, and with God's willing, also Free Moscow. You've all seen quite horrific pictures from Ukraine, but there have been other better pictures. And the better pictures are from the scenes that we can all agree on, that despite everything, Ukrainians have been kicking Russian ass. And I have read dozens of articles why this is happening. First article started with Kyiv will fall within 96 hours. Experts from Pentagon say this. Experts they say that, then this. Eventually it transformed, well, Ukrainian troops were trained by NATO. Russians have logistical problems, etc. But I think the biggest problem and why Putin cannot win this war is because he has sent slaves to conquer free people. It's not possible for a slave to conquer free people. And trust me, the main reason why we are winning is because we are free. If we had a dictatorship in our country, someone like Lukashenko or Yanukovych, which we have fortunately kicked out, we would never have resisted the way we resist, we would never have received the support we received. So the main reason, our main advantage is why we are beating the military, which has 12 times the military spending than we have in the initial stages, when we still do not have the heavy army, is because we have freedom, because we have the spirit, because we know what we are fighting for, and we have a clear goal in the head. And this fight with the Russians is a true testament to the power of freedom. It's all visible now. You can see that freedom is truly powerful. It can beat even the 10 times more powerful evil if you have freedom. But also what I want to say is that Russia currently threatens freedom all over the world, right? Of course, they will be too afraid to attack militarily directly, hopefully, although we never know. But in all of European countries, you know that they have already put their agents of influence. You know in every of your country what they are trying to do to undermine your country. And I'm pretty sure that happens in every European country. We should never try to underestimate the things that they plan for your country, and whatever the small influence that is, that might be a big problem in the future. And what I really want for the time we meet at the next Europe Liberty Forum, that we work really hard now to get rid of all the Russian influence, all the totalitarian influence from any totalitarian country within the democracy. It shouldn't exist. Now it's a question of survival. And also, I want to share that Ukraine has been responding with freedom towards the invasion. So one of our first reactions within the country, and which I voted for as a legislator, was to eliminate all import taxes. We basically eliminated profit tax in the country. We allowed private ownership of guns. So our immediate response to the invasion was more freedom. Ukraine can truly be a model for the future reforms and showing what actually makes the country stronger. So in the end, unfortunately, the times when we thought that significant cataclysms were within the previous generations are over. We are going through a significant cataclysm now, so we have to adapt to this. But the good thing is that freedom is strong. We can see that in the way that we are beating the Russians, and we can stand stronger now. But we also have to adapt, and to adapt new strategies, and to fight off this additional threat. And freedom will win because it's definitely the very, very powerful force. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Marian, for all you do for the cause and for those words. And let's also thank, with another round of applause more broadly, all the freedom fighters in Ukraine at this hour. As Marian alluded to, if there's a silver lining to the horrors that have been visited upon Ukraine, it's that I think that Putin has inadvertently awakened a love of liberty inside Ukraine and in many parts of Europe where it may have been languishing before. I think that everybody in this room knows that there's a greater appreciation that history is happening now and that the future is not preordained and that it's time for our community, the liberal community, to be stepping up, acting bolder, and working to advance this understanding that individual liberty, free enterprise system as an engine of progress, the rule of law, to end cronyism and to rein in excessive government, that these are the ingredients that will bring a freer Ukraine, a free Europe, a freer world. So there is a whole lot for all of us to do, but there's also a place for dinner, drinks, friends. So in just a couple minutes, we're going to allow you to indulge in all of those. But first, a couple quick reminders. We are now going to be handing out the flyers about the Linda Whetstone Free Society's Memorial Fund. Please also put on your calendar that you should be with us to celebrate Linda's life at our Liberty Forum in New York City, November 16th and 17th. Also, the Whetstone family has asked me to share with you that they've announced an additional memorial service in London that you're invited to attend on October 18th. Be attentive to upcoming emails from Atlas Network to share details on this service that you should consider attending, or ask me and others on our team for information. And I'm also delighted that our friend Lars Petter Nordbakken is with us tonight. Lars, are you out there? Lars from Oslo, thank you, Lars. He's hosting the next Mont Pelerin Society meeting in October. And as mentioned, Linda was serving a 2-year term as the Mont Pelerin Society president when she passed. And I know she'd want everyone in this room to be aware of the Mont Pelerin Society meeting in Oslo, October 4th through 8th. So it's a great program you're putting together, Lars. So again, he's over there if you want to learn more about the event, and hopefully there'll be a good representation from our think tank community at Mont Pelerin Society this year. Soon I'll be back with our keynote speaker, Johan Norberg, and the announcement of the 2022 Europe Liberty Award winner. Now, enjoy dinner, and thank you for joining our Europe Liberty Forum. Thank you.